In the time before the Titans, before the gods of Olympus, a great battle was waged.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my God of War Ascension Titan difficulty video walkthrough. This is the Gauntlet of Apollo, and this is a boss fight against the Fury. So, this fight is very interesting. What I managed to do when I was practicing it, when I was trying to find some strategies, is I was countering the boss, and the counter doesn't seem to do that much damage to her, and I hit her with about 10 to 15 counters, and it still did not progress the fight. You can do it that way if you want. You are safe from every attack. The guys around you, you can use the Plume of Prometheus twice to kill them. Once it knocks the shield off, the second time will kill them. But instead, to just speed this phase up, because the checkpoint on this fight is all the way back at the start, even if you die on this part. So instead, I use 2 sets of magic to skip the first phase, and in this phase, I just fight her as normal. And now that I've got full life for it, it means that I can afford quite a lot of mistakes, because as I've mentioned, the damage on Titan is almost laughable. It really is significantly easier than the previous games. This boss is quite tricky though. She's fast, she's got a lot of attacks, and that one right there cannot be blocked. Anything that has a ground wave, any kind of AoE... Hang on a second, it looked like I blocked it just then. Maybe it can be blocked. But the rule of thumb with God of War is very simple. Try to block everything. If you can't block it and you take damage, that is the move you want to avoid. It's really that simple. But my strategy here is also simple. Hit her with light attacks, parry her attacks on yourself, and just continue to do it. Get a nice chain going, build up your rage meter so that you can do some extra damage. And once you do enough damage to this phase, she's going to jump on the roof and she's going to summon some more soldiers. Now that right there was me trying to use the rage attack. I can't even say how much I don't recommend it, because they're just not very good. I did not find a use for it at all. I would much prefer to go into psycho mode and do some serious damage, but this game doesn't have it. So instead, we're just going to parry this lady. You'll notice I'm waiting for the last attack of her combo, because I know the timing of that, and it's the easiest one to parry. If you're confident, you can parry any of them. Be careful of that. That's a grab. That will go through your block. And, you know, I think it's more than doable, this fight, because if you'll notice, I've been hit quite a lot. I've played quite sloppily, and she's took off half my life, barely half my life. So, or that when it slows down, it means she's going to do this. So you need to double jump over it. Your biggest enemy when she does the ground pound like that is Kratos and his inability to jump very well. But this is one of those fights that doing no damage is probably going to be very, very easy if you're patient. And, you know, I'm not the biggest patient guy when it comes to this kind of stuff. But now she's on the rooftops. Here's a bunch of spear guys. The motivation for the spear guys is that they give you a weapon to throw at her. So I run over, do the magic to kill them all, pick up the spear, and I start chucking them at her. And what I do with the spears is I throw all but one, and then on the final one I do the special release, which sounds extremely sexual, but it's not intended to be. And there's more guys around, so I'm going to avoid them, and I'm going to continue throwing spears at her. Because if you'll notice on the bar, I don't quite have enough to use the magic again. And I could Plume of Prometheus these dudes, which I'm probably going to try. Watch out for them glowing red, because it means they're going to attack, and they've got a surprisingly large amount of range. They do that Leonidas spear jump thing, so you want to be careful. But now that she's fallen down, we get to do the awesome grab on her, and it's going to move to the next sequence of the fight. And I believe this is a checkpoint coming up. So if you die at any stage of the fight you've just watched, you will be back at the very beginning of those 4 minutes. And that is the real only reason with this fight. You have to do a couple of phases that last a couple of minutes without dying. But luckily enough, out of all the God of Wars, this is the easiest one to accomplish that feat, so hopefully you will not have any issues. But these women do not fight fair, and you're about to be introduced to the concept of getting gangbanged. But first we have to fight the other Fury, and I don't know the names of the sisters, guys, I do apologise. This part here you have to dodge and slap it. I actually died on this section because I was watching a YouTube video while I was recording the guide, and because I thought it was a cutscene, I was just looking over at my computer, and when I looked back it said game over. And I should have really left that in because it's quite funny, but the nature of these walkthroughs, I edit all that stuff out. And some of the less media-minded people actually think that I never die, which is crazy, because then they ask questions about why does your life suddenly go back up at a certain time. It's like, dude, I edited it. You know, I died and then the checkpoint brought me back with full life. You just didn't see the transition. So this form of the fight, she's going to attack you with the crazy phoenix bird thing. You want to just light attacks, evade, light attacks, build up your rage meter, and then just unleash some of your better attacks on her. Don't get greedy, because she'll poise through some attacks, and she has a couple of different ones, so just be aware of them. When she goes up like this, it means she's going to either land like she just did then. I can't believe that hit me. That attack is so easy to dodge. That's just laziness from me, that. This is a combo, be careful of this. There, she's going to charge at you again. Whenever she leans back, she's going to do the directional charge. And now that we've done enough damage, she's going to call her sister... Oh no, she's not, sorry. She's going to do this. So she goes up in the air, she gets protected by an aura, and she spams this AoE attack. She's vulnerable when she comes out of it. The only problem is, it's a very small window, and it can be difficult to get attacks in, so... I freeze her there with the armlet, and I come over and do an air combo, which does work. It works quite well, actually. But what you want to try and do, which I'm not really doing that well, is kite the floor projectiles so that when they stop being cast, you're close to the boss, if you understand what I mean. And this is when it gets a little bit more tricky, because you've got to watch both of them. And the only real threat here is the Phoenix sister, because she's going to spam you from a distance, and she's going to fly at you, and this is a ground attack, so you have to jump. And look at that bullshit. I just landed in a tag team throw. That's so unfair. And look how little damage it did. I just don't get this game at all. That's the ground and pound again. But strategy here, guys, is literally ignore the Phoenix sister, beat up the scorpion-legged thing, sister praying mantis one. Watch this, she's going to do a full combo. You want to be careful, get all the way away from it. Here comes the ground pound. As soon as she finishes the ground pound, hold Y above her and do this big old combo and beat her up. While you're doing this, watch the other sister, because she's going to be attacking you. And if you're good at, you know, situational awareness and paying attention to two spots at the same time, you're going to have no trouble with this. If you can't quite get your brain around the concept of watching both of them, it can be tricky. But as I've mentioned, the praying mantis legs bitch is easy. The Phoenix one is annoying. The combination of the two is tricky, but it's not hard, and you should be fine. But I did die on the last phase of this fight, mainly because it's really awkward getting in attacks, and you'll see it when it turns up, and I'll explain why. So that right there was the rage of the whatever doing a lot of damage, which is always great. And this is the ground and pound, so jump over it. Do not go to try and attack though, because she's protected by the Phoenix, and this is when it gets tricky. So what's going to happen here is, Praying Mantis Legs Lady has a shield. You can freeze her with the amulet, which is really useful, but you need to attack this sister. And this sister's going to be spamming that ground attack. So what you need to do here is you need to kite both the projectiles and the other sister away from this one, so that you can attack her in the small, brief window you get to do so. And the way that I decide to do this is I do the rolling hold Y attack. That attack there. And if done correctly, you can get in and get out without taking any damage, and I assume deal quite a lot of damage to her. And it's a good strategy, but it's really easy to get caught and to get hurt, and I am getting hurt here really sloppily because the projectile had not finished, because I didn't kite it very well, and it took off decent damage considering you don't take massive damage on Titan for some strange reason. So this is all about, you know, herding this projectile well, getting to the boss when she's vulnerable and doing this damage, and if you can do it well, you'll have no issue here. If you're doing it quite sloppily like I am, then you're probably going to take more damage than you should. And just be aware, if the second sister's anywhere near you, she'll try and hit you with that ground smash, which does do a lot of damage. And there you go. But still, that should kill you. You know, this is the hardest difficulty. I have no idea why the damage values are so low. There's the freeze on the amulet. And yeah, this is literally it now. I think this is cheap, personally. I think it's way too specific for a boss phase. And that's it. All you have to do now is go up to her, and you get to do the quick time event that leads to the ever infamous bros before hoes controversy, which is completely unnecessary. It just goes to show that there are a lot of oversensitive people in the world, and the majority of them are cunts. Oh, that's bad as well. That right there. This entire game, you have never needed to use the analog for a quick time event, and it throws that one at you. That pissed me off so much on my first playthrough, I can't even tell you. But the moral of the story, guys, is don't be too overly sensitive over media. It's a waste of energy. It really is. It was meant as a joke. Some people took it the wrong way, like most people do. You know, they're just those people that don't have a sense of humour. There it is again. God, I hate those quick time events. Hate the placement. Hate everything about them. See, this bit is quite violent. It wants you to press the buttons to attack. I thought he was going to do it automatically, but he goes to stamp on her face. She's laughing, and it's not even her. It's a phantom clone thing. It don't make any sense, man. Why is everybody getting so open arms? Don't get me wrong, I would never want in real life somebody to do this to a woman, because I'd think it'd be disgusting, because you should never touch a woman. You know, you should never do physical harm to anybody in a perfect world. But that wasn't even her. That's the joke. It wasn't even her. Doesn't make any sense. But thanks for watching, guys, and you take care now.